night that Jesus was arrested was a horrible night for everyone who loved him or believed that he was the Messiah. When the soldiers took Jesus away, the disciples scattered. Peter followed at a distance and waited outside where they took Jesus. Earlier that night, Jesus had told Peter that he would betray him 3 times. And then it happened. When someone asked Peter if he was a follower of Jesus, he said he didn't know Jesus 3 different times. Peter felt terrible, especially when Jesus looked right at him. The priests met all night to try and find a crime to charge Jesus with. They needed 2 witnesses to try to accuse him, and they finally found some people to say Jesus had said bad things about God. All night long, the people who arrested Jesus were mean and cruel to him. They slapped him and they spit in his face. In the morning, the priests took Jesus to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor, to ask him to order Jesus' death. Pilate questioned Jesus and found no fault in him. He sent Jesus to King Herod to try to make Herod take responsibility, but he sent Jesus back. Pilate tried to release Jesus, but the crowd shouted, "No, crucify him!" While Jesus waited for a decision, soldiers put a red robe on Jesus. They put a crown made of thorns on his head, and they mocked Jesus, calling him the King of the Jews. They hit Jesus with a stick. Pilate even had his soldiers whip Jesus to try and satisfy the crowd. A Roman whip had many leather cords, kind of like this one, but each one had pieces of rock or bone tied to it. Each time the soldier snapped the whip, it cut open the skin on Jesus' back. After 39 whips, the Israelites would have stopped because they knew that 40 whips would kill a person. The Romans had no such limitation. We don't know how many times Jesus was flogged. It was a horrible night for Jesus, but it didn't satisfy his enemies. They cried, "Crucify him!" Pilate finally gave in and ordered Jesus to die on the cross.
Jesus suffered many, many things for us because he loved us very, very much. Can you imagine how much that must have hurt to have that crown of thorns stuck into your head? Well, you right now have the opportunity to make your own crown of thorns. You could either use some Play-Doh or some clay or some homemade dough. You could look up a recipe on the internet for how to make your own homemade Play-Doh. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your Play-Doh and you're going to roll it out to make one of those little snakes or those little worms. And then once you have that done, you're going to take it and put it into a circle to make your own crown of thorns. And then you're going to add toothpicks to your crown of thorns. Have everybody take turns adding toothpicks to the crown of thorns, and then feel that and imagine how much that must have hurt. That's how much Jesus loves us.